Hey everyone, welcome back. Let me just dive right in. So this is going to be the first video of a series of 3. Okay, the first one we're going to model this kitchen and bring in some assets, and in the second one we're going to make some materials, and in the third one we're going to do the lighting and rendering and also post-production. I've made some videos like this before and I've seen that people are quite interested in these type of videos, and that's why I decided to make another one. All right. Okay, so let's just start. The first thing we want to do every time that we want to start a project is to check our unit setup. So let's go to the customize menu, unit setup. Then we need to make sure that we're using the correct setup here. Since this is a relatively small project, I'm going to work with centimeters. So here I'm going to go with centimeters. Also in system unit setup, let's go with centimeters as well. It doesn't matter if they're different. It's better if you keep them the same because it makes it easier for you to understand what you're doing, but it's not really important. The important one is the system unit setup. And for this project, as I said, we're going with centimeters. And the second thing, since we're going to work with OCIO or ACES, we need to make sure that we're working in that color space as well. So let's go to rendering, then color management, and make sure that you're using OCIO here. It might be on gamma by default, but you need to pick OCIO and the rest of it should be okay. You don't need to change anything, but pause the video, double check, see if you're using the same settings here. Okay. Then what we need to do is to import our layout, and I have it right here and you can find it down in the description as well. We're going to just import this, and since this has been drawn in meters, I need to rescale it and use meters here. All right. So if we compare it to the layouts that we have in to the images that we have here, this is a section which is looking towards that way. So there's a section right in the middle, and here we have the plan, right? And to start, we need to go to create tab, then shapes, and we're going to start with a line. All right. So start with a line and make sure to enable your snap tool as well. And you can activate it from here or with the S key on your keyboard. And we're going to go one step further. Let's right click here and select only the vertex. We don't need anything else here. Okay. Now, while this is activated, we can just snap to these corners and we're going to create a line over the walls that we have here. So here, there's going to be a window. I'm going to click here and click one more time there. So wherever I have an opening, I'm going to create one vertex on each side, right? There's another window here. So we're going to create one vertex there, one vertex here. And same goes for this guy. There's another window here. It's a quite big one. All right. So the first line is done. We can go as the line is selected to the modify tab. Then under geometry, we have create line. So we can create another line within this line that we have. So it's not going to be a new line. It's going to be within the same edit spline. All right. So this time we're going to create another line for this part. One here, one there, another one. Okay. Oh, sorry, I need to go back. Oh, by the way, if you've drawn some line and you want it to go back, you cannot go with Control Z. You need to go with backspace here. Every time you press backspace, it's going to go back one step. So there's this wall here. So basically this wall goes here, then goes up. So we need to continue creating this wall. I don't want to go over there. I want to create this wall as well. Then we have the window, then this wall, another window, and the last one. All right. So basically we have the walls, the layout for the walls, and we can just apply an extrude modifier to make it look like a wall. And it's gonna be around like 240 centimeters, I think. And we can just check this section here. Let me just detach this from the rest of the layout that we have here. So I can just basically select spline from the edit spline, or I can press 3 on my keyboard, select the whole thing. Then you're gonna have to go down here and detach it. And we can call it section. All right. Now, as you can see, the pivot for this object that we just created is far away from the center, right? To bring this back into the center of the newly created object, we can go to hierarchy, affect pivot only, and then center to object. It will bring that pivot to the center point here. I can do the same thing for this one. Center, and that's it. All right, now we need to rotate this for 90 degrees. Basically either E on your keyboard or click here. And we need to rotate it for 90 degrees. And to be accurate, I need to enable angle snap, and you can do that by pressing A on your keyboard or just activating it from here. And just let's rotate it for 90 degrees. And we need to align it with that. So from the front view, or by pressing F on your keyboard, we can move this up and align this corner with this right here. All right. I can just select the walls that I created and convert them to editable poly, or add an edit poly modifier here. Now let's select the vertices, select all of these guys here, and just align them with what we have here. Make sure it's on snap tool number 3. So let's align it with this. Now the height is accurate. Okay. Now we need to create the openings. As you can see in these images, the openings are full height. So it's going from floor to the ceiling, right? So we don't need to actually create any other segments here. We can just select both sides of every opening, these two, these two, these two, and also these two, and just bridge them together. So basically, if you press bridge, it should create your openings for you. So it basically creates a bridge between the two selected polygons. Okay, I don't need any of these. I can just delete these, and also these, and I can cap all the openings that are left here. All right, so we can select all the borders and right click cap, or you can go to edit borders in your edit poly and cap the openings. All right, now we have the walls, we have the openings, and we can probably start creating these cabinets. Let's have a look here to see what we have. So on this side, we have this one, and it's basically just some doors, right? Nothing really crazy about it. We have some holes over there that we can create as well. So let's start with a box here. And as you can see, it goes from floor to the ceiling. But if we look at our section here, we can see that there's a gap over there. We need to create that. But on the top, there's another gap, but it's quite small. We don't have it here, but we can create it. Anyways, let's start with a box here. I'm going to create a box from here to there, all the way up to the ceiling, right? Same goes for the other one on the other side. I'm gonna just create another box like that. All right. As you can see in your layout, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 segments here. So we can just go ahead and add an edit poly here. Select all of these edges, right? Or you can select one and go with ring. And we need to create 1, 2, 3, 4 segments, right? And we can do that with connect tool. I can just, if I click here, it's going to only create one. But if I click on this button here, settings, it will open up the settings and I can add as many as I want, right? Then if we have another look, you can see that we have one segment over here for the last two doors. I'm going to select all of these again and create just one this time. And over there you can see where is the height, so I can just align it with that with my snap tool activated, right? Do we have another one up here? No. Okay. On the other side, I don't see any segments, so these are gonna be full height doors. All right, so let's also create the segments for this one as well. Add an edit poly modifier. Select these edges and create 3 segments. All right, we need to also take care of what we have down there, right? Let's attach these two together so it's easier to edit both of them at once. I'm going to select one of them, go to edit geometry, and with attach, I can just attach these two together. I can isolate them with my section here with Alt and Q while all of them are selected. Then we need to create one segment all the way down there, right? Let's create one segment, sorry. Just one. This one, if you double click, it's gonna select the whole loop, all right? So no matter which one, if I click here, double click here, it's gonna select the whole loop. Then we need to just move it down and align it with this one. Also that one needs to be aligned with this line here. Also up there, we need to create one more. So this one, I don't know what's, I don't have any helper there, so I can just basically bring it all the way up to this corner and right click on my move tool and bring it down on Z axis for, let's say, 5 centimeters. And same thing goes for this one, -5. All right, there are 2 ways to create these gaps. So basically you can just select all of these. Let me just show you what the result will be. And you can extrude them backwards, right? But that will be a problem. It will create all of these extra polygons that you don't really need. So the easier way is to select all of these, all the rest basically, on both sides, and extrude them outwards. So I'm gonna go with 3 centimeters here. Let's go with 5 or 4. Now I don't have that problem anymore. But since these are not accurate anymore, I can just select all of these vertices here and push them back for 4 centimeters. Sorry, on X. Also for this one, I'll go -4. Okay, now this is accurate, right? The next thing, we need to create the doors. We also have to create this one. I believe this is a little bit lower than that. Let's go with maybe 60 centimeters, and then we have 60 and 40, I believe. I'm not really sure, but let's do that. So this is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure if what I have here is accurate. Okay, the layout is not really accurate. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7 segments, I would say. Yeah, so let's select all of these with loop, remove them, and let's create 7 instead. All right, and on the other side also should be the same, but since this is smaller, I'm gonna go with 5. Since I don't have all the information, that's the best I could do, honestly. So let's go with 5 on this side. All right, so on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, we're going to have the oven and the microwave. So we need 1 segment up here and 1 down there. So I'm gonna put this on 60 centimeters from floor. Let's bring it all the way down with the snap tool enabled, obviously. Align it with this. Then right click here, bring it up for 60 centimeters. Then this one also, I will bring it all the way down here. We need 60 for the oven and probably 40 for the microwave. Now we can just select the doors here. So let's select all of these polygons. Also on this side. And we need to create a separated geometry here. So we need to detach this stuff. Let's go ahead and detach them, but we're going to detach them as clone. And I'm going to tell you why. So basically, if you go with detach as clone and hit OK, it's going to create a clone out of what you have, and it's going to keep the old geometry. It's not going to remove it, right? But if you go just by detach without that, it's going to totally detach it from the other geometry. And this is not something that I want, sorry. So let's select these, detach as clone. Now this is a separate geometry that we can easily isolate and start working with this. So as you can see, we only have this segment on the last two doors and we don't have it for any of the others. Basically, I can just go ahead, select all of these and remove them. And to remove every segment, you have two ways again, actually three ways. We have backspace. If you go with backspace, it will remove the segments, but it won't remove the vertices that were connected to those segments. But if you go with control backspace, it's going to remove the segments as well as the vertices, okay? And the third way is to go with delete, but it's going to delete all the polygons that are connected to those segments. So if I click on this one and delete it, it's going to remove all the polygons that are connected to that segment. And in this case, we're going to go with control backspace, and that's it. Then we need to create a tiny gap in between the doors, right? To do that, I can just select all of these, right click and inset, either from here, or you can go to edit poly, and under edit polygons, you can select inset. So if you click here, you can manually do the inset, but if we click on the settings, which is something that we need to do, it will open up this window and we can do whatever we want here. So I don't want to add an inset for the whole thing. I would like to add an inset for each and every of these polygons. And to do that, I can just go with by polygon here. And it's going to be a very tiny gap here. So let's hold Alt so we can create small numbers here. And let's create something like 2 millimeters. I'm going to go with 0.2. All right. So basically we don't need these guys anymore, right? We only need the red parts and we can just simply remove them. But to remove them, you can go with Control and I on your keyboard and it's going to invert your selection. Then you can just simply go ahead and delete those, right? Now, if I go to vertices, you can see that I have an extra vertex here because it was connected to this segment there. I can remove this with backspace and I have 4 more vertices here that I don't really need. I'm gonna go ahead and select all of them as I'm holding Control on my keyboard and remove them with backspace as well. All right, now the next step is to add some shell to these guys to give them some volume, and to do that I can just, as they are selected, go to my modifier list and shell modifier. Let's make them like 1.5 centimeters, something like that. All right, and you can basically add shell to either side, but I only need that on this side, so let's go with actually 1.6, and these are going to be the doors. But it's not very likely that we have such sharp edges anywhere, right? It's not going to be that sharp. It's going to be dangerous. So to fix that, we can add a chamfer modifier. We don't need it to be that big. We can just go with a very small number here. So 0.5 millimeter. And we don't want this smoothness to happening all over the geometry. We want it to only happen at the edges. So here on smoothing output, you can just select smooth chamfers only. All right. Now we don't have any sharp edges here, and it's gonna look better in your render as well. Okay, the next step, maybe we can just create a hole here so we can import our models later. Let's select these two polygons, hold shift. This is only working in edit poly, by the way. Hold shift and just move it back as far as it goes. This is basically extrude, but it's an easier way to do it. And then we need to create this kitchen island, which we don't have any information for it. It's basically a couple of doors here and some drawers. I would say one door, 2 drawers, and 2 doors here. So let's go ahead and start with a box again. From here to here, and the height is coming from this guy over there. Let's go again, here to here, then there. All right. We also have that gap over there as well. I can just convert this to an edit poly. By selecting these segments, I can create one segment down there. Then I'm going to select all of these polygons. So basically this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your keyboard if you don't know that already. Yeah, I'm gonna select everything, extrude. And since I want each polygon to be extruded towards its normal, I'm going to go with local normal, right? And as we did for those, we're going with 4 centimeters. All right, let's see. So we have this stone around it, and we have the door. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments here. Let's go with 5 segments. We're going to have a problem here. So these segments are not going to be completely straight because the length of this segment and that one are not the same, but it doesn't really matter in this case. So we have that. Actually, we need to create this around it, this stone. Let's do that a little bit later. I'm going to create some drawers here, and as I can see here, I guess it's like just 2 segments. Let's do the same thing for the other side as well. So let's go with connect. We need only 2. And as you can see, these are these upper ones are kind of closer to each other, and that one down there is a little bit smaller. So we can basically bring this closer to each other, right, with pinch, and we can slide them up like so. Let's say something like that. All right. And once again, we're going to select all the doors with holding control, detach them. Oh, before we do that, we need to consider the thickness of this stone over here. So we need to compensate for that. I'm going to select all of these vertices and bring them down for 1.5 centimeter. All right. And also we have this gap here. I assume this is for the handle. And I'm going to add one more segment up here. Actually, let's just select, this is something else that I can tell you. So if you select all of these, we want to create one segment up here, right? Now, because the length are different, it's not going to be a straight line. If I go ahead and create one segment there, it's gonna look like something like this, right? Not very useful. But the way you can fix it is to just go to edit geometry, and on the z-axis we can level all the lines like that, right? This is aligned. I can bring it all the way up here with my snap tool enabled and bring everything like these segments, all of them together for maybe 4 centimeters. Okay, great. Now we can create our doors here. Every great render starts with a clear workflow from the first polygon to the final frame. In this course, I'll guide you through that entire journey. You will learn the complete ArchViz pipeline: modeling, materials, lighting, cameras, and post-production, all inside one structured 66 lesson project. Join DHM Studio VIP course and take your ArchViz skills and your career to the next level. All right, everything selected. Again, detach as clone. We're going to select the new geometry, isolate it, select all the polygons here, then inset right there. And as I remember, we went with 2 millimeters, I believe, and by polygon. One more time, we're going to invert the selection with Control I and delete all the extra polygons. And we're gonna have to select all of these extra vertices here and remove them as well. So let's get rid of those. Then we need to give it a shell modifier and a chamfer modifier. And let's go with 0.5 millimeter and chamfer only, smooth only the chamfers. All right, now we need to create this stone cover here, or cabinet top. I'm going to, let's create a new geometry for that. So we can probably start from here to there, and it goes all the way down to here. I'm going to give it a thickness of 1.5, and we need to align it perfectly to this corner. Let's convert it to an editable poly, and obviously it needs to cover this edge also, so I'm going to select these vertices, align them with this corner, and these vertices with this corner over here. And we're going to extrude this for 1.5 centimeters. Let's select this polygon, hold shift, with your snap tool enabled, bring it all the way to this corner, then another 1.5 centimeter, and we can select this polygon, and with holding shift, extrude it like so. Alrighty, most of the part is kind of done, let's say. Just need to create one opening over here for the sink, which I believe I mistakenly, yeah, it actually should be on the other side, so these should be here. All right, so to create this hole for our sink, we need to create a hole inside this stone. Let's, as it's selected, we can go to our edit geometry and then quick slice. We can slice through the geometry with this. There's another way. We can create segments like this and align them one by one. Just gonna be a little bit lengthier, let's say. It's gonna take a little bit more time. Or we can just go ahead and enable our quick slice. With snap tool enabled, we can just click on both sides of this rectangle and it will create the segments for us. You can basically create any type of segment that you want with the quick slice tool. Alright, now that we have that, we can again select this and that polygon together, basically the both sides that we want to create an opening, and then bridge them together. So we have the hole here, but we don't have it in that geometry. But basically we don't need to have these polygons. If I isolate it, you can see that we don't really need these. Nobody can see them. I can just simply remove them. And later on, I'm going to add my sink here. All right, so, I did a mistake. Should be the other way around, actually. All right, not a big problem. I can just mirror this geometry and problem solved, right? Okay. Another problem should have been on the other side. I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to move the pivot to the center point, affect pivot only and center, and I need to again mirror it, but on this side. And we can remove these two polygons and problem solved. Okay, great. We can create the floor and the ceilings also. For the ceiling, it's quite easy. It's just a normal box that goes over the whole thing. I can go with 35-40 centimeters. Let's go with 30. And we can create a copy with holding shift, and with the snap tool align it to this part, and that's going to be our floor. For the floor, we can actually create the tiles like with floor generator, which is a software script to create any type of tiles, and we can also do it in material. I'm going to decide how to do it probably in the next lesson where we're going to create the materials. But for this one, I think this is gonna be good enough. Let's create the handles then. All right, it's basically just a box. I don't see any details going on here. Yeah, it's just basically a box. All right, so, and it goes somewhere around there. All right, let's create one box here. I'm going to enable auto grid so I can draw over this geometry, and it's gonna be something like that. Let's make it maybe 2 centimeters, and on that side I'm gonna make it 1 centimeter, and let's make it 115 height wise. It's quite close to this edge. I can just align it to that corner, and yeah, that's it. All right, so these two are going to have one right at the corner. Let's select both of these. And create 2 more over here, or make a copy. And we need 1 more over there. Okay, good enough. Let's just make a copy for the other side. I'm gonna align this with my snap tool enabled to this corner. This one goes here. All right. I need 1 of these. Maybe both. I can just bring both of these here and add an edit poly modifier so I can edit both of them together, because right here we have 2 door handles. So One needs to be like this. And the other one is gonna be like that. All right. Let's create a copy out of this for this one as well. And let's have a look. There's one over there. And I believe that is it. All right, let's add a chamfer to all of these boxes that we created. So basically you can just select one of them and go with Control, Shift, and A, which is going to select all the similar objects and isolate them. Since these two are boxes also, they're going to be similar objects, so we basically don't need them. So let's hold Alt and deselect these guys and add a chamfer modifier to these door handles. And let's make this chamfer quite small. All right. Yeah, this is good enough. All right. Now there's this line here where we have the light. We need to create some sort of a hole in the ceiling. Let's do that. Basically, it starts right at the edge of the cabinet, and I would say it's probably around like 5 centimeters. So I'm gonna just isolate these boxes and the ceiling together. From the top view, as my box is selected, I'm going to convert it to an editable poly, and with quick slice, let's create one segment here, another one there. Then we need two more. So let's create two segments here. And each of these needs to have 4 centimeters of space between this and the next one. So I'm going to bring this all the way here and move it to the left for maybe 5 centimeters. This one as well for 5 centimeters. We need to create two more segments also, one here and one there. We need one more over here as well. Okay. Now let's select these polygons and extrude them for maybe 2 centimeters. Great. All right, I believe that we can also model this sink because it's just a simple box. There's nothing to it. I'm going to isolate this one, create a box. Let's convert it to an editable poly, move it down and put it right here. And we need to remove this polygon there. And I'm going to actually add a shell modifier to this for 1 centimeters or whatever, and also a chamfer, but very small, something like this. That's going to be our sink. I'm not really sure about the depth. I gotta check, but let's leave it like this for now. And we can bring in some assets now, right? Let's go to Cosmos. So I guess we're gonna render this with Corona. So let's go with Cosmos. Okay. Let's look for a sink. This is the only one that I've downloaded before because I'm not online. Just give me a second so I can go online. All right, now it's working. Okay, let's look for a sink online, and I'm actually looking for a faucet. So Yeah, maybe that's the only one we can use. So let's just drag and drop it into our scene. I'm going to put it on full mesh so I can see everything. Then I'm going to convert it to an editable mesh, and we need to remove all the extra stuff that we don't need. I'll probably keep that also. Let's remove this and bring this down. Bring it here, and I'm gonna rotate it for 90 degrees. Put it right in the middle. Actually, we can actually see the depth of a sink from this guy here, so let's adjust that as well. So gonna, from the front view, I'm gonna just bring this up to here, and it's going to be accurate now. Great. Then we need to bring in a stove. And we only have the electric type, which I believe is okay. If you have another model, I think the one that we have here is looking way cooler. But unfortunately, this is what I have here. Since I'm going to kind of share the file with you guys, I would prefer to use something that you can just download from Cosmos, so you can get the same results as well. All right, let's rotate this by 90 degrees, and this should go somewhere around here. Yeah, that's very, very tiny. Maybe let's go with this one. Yeah, maybe this one is a bit better. Let's delete that. All right, then we have a microwave and an oven. I can bring in this one, then we can change the color to something black. I guess this is good, so let's just drag and drop it in our scene. Wow, that is actually huge. No, this is way too big. All right, let's go with these two. Although this one is, yeah, I'm gonna just copy this one twice. Sorry, that's what I can find here. If I could use my own library, the things that I purchased before would have been a much wider selection there. There's a problem with the scale, but no worries, I'm gonna just scale it up. But we shouldn't basically do this because it's not gonna look good, but just for the sake of this tutorial, because the layout had a problem. Sorry about that. Usually don't do this, but I don't want to make this video super long by going back and everything. I would probably modify the layouts before I share it with you, so you shouldn't have this problem. All right, let's make another copy. And obviously we need to fix this guy. We need to select this edit poly and bring this down. Also, we need to select that polygon in the back. Bring that down as well. Okay. Now let's see what kind of lights do we have here in Cosmos. Pretty sure it's not going to be a very big selection, but let's see. So we don't have spotlights, we have ceiling lights. And if we compare these, I guess that could work. Let's bring that in. All right, I don't need the light for now. I'm gonna just remove it, and let's bring this all the way up to here. We can isolate it with the ceiling and do it accurately with the snap tool. So this one should go here, and from the top view we can even do it easier, like this should be here. On the right side, I guess, right? Then we need to convert this to an editable mesh and make it way bigger. I think it's only above the kitchen island. It doesn't go all the way down there, so I'm gonna just keep it here, and I'm gonna just grab these elements, and with holding shift I'm just going to create 4 of these. Let's actually select all of them without that and create 2 more over here. All right. So far so good. Then we can just bring in a window, and I guess that would be it. So windows, they're gonna be under probably architecture, doors and gates, and windows. All right. Maybe that one could work. Also, let's see if we have any glass doors here. How does this one look? Nope. Yeah, we're gonna go with that window. So it was this one, I guess, or that one. Let's go with this. I'm gonna just drop it here, and the scale is looking kind of close to what we have here, I would say, but we still need to convert it to an editable mesh, rotate it by 90 degrees, sorry, 180, align the top part. You can do it accurately with the snap tool, but I guess this is also good enough. All right, we don't need this one. I'm gonna just get rid of it. Let's keep the hinges. Don't need that, sorry. Yeah, actually, let's get rid of this one as well. We don't need the hinges. You can see some screws also. All right, now we can just make this as big as this. Again, we don't need these. Let's get rid of them. And this should go here, and hopefully it's already on the ground, on the floor. Yeah. All right, that's cool. We don't need this as well. Remove. Okay, this looks pretty close to what we have here, I would say. Great. We have also other windows here, and we can use the other type that I just saw. There was another one right next to this one. All right, this guy. Let's bring this in. I'm gonna convert it to an editable mesh and adjust the size. Actually, this is going to be behind the camera, but doesn't matter. We're gonna do this accurately as well. So basically you can just create some copies, but if you do that, you're gonna have some frames, some mullions here that are not necessary to have. The other way is to create a copy with symmetry modifier. So symmetry is basically mirror, but the mirror is within the same object. So if I put this symmetry here, it's going to create one mirror here. And if I select the gizmo, this mirror, I can move it and it's going to do the mirror thing inside the same geometry. It's not going to create a separated geometry. And you can do it on all different axes, right? You can do it on X, you can do it on Y, on Z, or you can do it on 2 at the same time. But let's go with X, and I'm going to flip this and create one symmetry here. Actually, we can just copy this one, paste it, and bring this guy over there. And we need another one. That needs to go probably in the middle of this window. And I can make this bigger with an FFT modifier. I have talked about FFT in probably every modeling video that I've made. And basically you can scale something uniformly. You can deform it. You can just select one of these corners and change the shape of your geometry. Doesn't matter what it is. And we have different types of FFT. We have 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, and we have box where you can just put use as many corners as you want. So let's just bring that in again one more time. Was this one? I'm gonna use it here. These are all gonna be out of the camera. We're not going to see these guys, but I'd prefer to just do it cleanly. And we can add another FFT here and make this smaller. Let's create a copy. Actually, that one is only one window, so let's bring in this one. All right. And convert it to an editable mesh and adjust the size. All right. There must be a door also here that I forgot about. So let's just create another opening here. Remove these unnecessary polygons, and I'm going to cap all of these openings. And basically I would just create another copy of this door and put it here. All right, I think I have everything here. And I guess we're ready to create some materials. By the way, I have a full course where I covered 16 different shots, everything from scratch, from modeling to materials, lighting and rendering, and also AI. It's 8 interior shots and 8 exterior shots. The link is going to be in the description. Have a look. If you have any questions or if you're interested, let me know and I'll be happy to help. All right, for this video, that was it. I hope you liked it and you could follow along. If you have any question about this one also, let me know in the comment section and I'll see you in the next one.